All right, Eagles fans, buckle up because this week is shaping up to be one of the most exciting of the entire offseason. That's right, it's NFL Draft Week, and everything kicks off Thursday night with the first round. Friday brings us rounds 2 and 3, and Saturday wraps it all up with rounds 4 through 7. It's a marathon of decisions, strategies, and future stars being introduced to the league, and we'll be covering every single step of the way. If you followed us for a while, you know we go deep with our draft coverage, analyzing every pick, evaluating what each new addition can bring to the organization, and of course, breaking down what it all means for the future of the Eagles. Whether you're a diehard fan or just getting into the groove of draft season, this is the place to be. And if you're wondering about my location, yeah, you're not wrong to be curious. I'm actually in Boston right now. I flew in last Friday after handling a pretty personal matter on Thursday. Let me just say, the past few days have been intense in the best possible way. My childhood best friend just ran the Boston Marathon for the first time. I mean, that alone is a huge achievement, but knowing that he's a hardcore Eagles supporter like us made it even more special. If you've ever been to one of our game day watch parties, you know the kind of energy his family brings to the table. They are the heartbeat of our crew, true believers. Being in Boston for the marathon was something else. Over 30,000 runners, all chasing something. But watching my guy cross that finish line, clocking in at 2 hours, 44 minutes, and 41 seconds, averaging just over 6 minutes per mile was honestly inspiring. That kind of discipline, that kind of heart, it gives you perspective. So hey, if you've got a second, drop a message for him in the comments. I know he'd appreciate it. Now, before diving into today's biggest Eagles news, yes, the contract extension we've all been talking about, I've got to share a quick story about a game I caught last night. It was one of those edge-of-your-seat matchups that come down to the final innings. Pure adrenaline. We didn't even have our tickets locked in until late, but waiting paid off. Prices dropped by more than half just before the first pitch. We rolled in with a crew of about 14, packed into the right field stands, and the atmosphere was electric. There's something about being at a game live, surrounded by fans, that just hits differently. So if you ever get the chance to catch a game, or a concert, a comedy show, a play, whatever, do it. And if you're picky like me about where you sit, use a platform that lets you preview your view before buying. That way, you know exactly what kind of experience you're getting. I found it super helpful, especially when they offer a price guarantee. They'll even refund more than 100% of the difference if you find a cheaper ticket. It's a game changer. Back to business. While I was riding the train into downtown Boston after the marathon, scrolling through updates, I caught wind of a major development. The Eagles had finalized a contract extension with one of their core players. I tried to film a reaction video on the spot, but the signal was trash. Too many people, too little bandwidth. So that's why I'm breaking it down with you now. If you're just tuning in or maybe saw the headline but didn't dive in yet, here's what you need to know. Jurgens. Yeah, the guy who stepped in after a franchise legend retired and made the center position his own, just inked a 4-year extension. The deal is reportedly worth $68 million, with nearly $40 million guaranteed. That locks him in through the end of the 2029 season. That's not just big, that's franchise-defining. There's a lot to unpack here. First off, the Eagles have been making smart, forward-thinking moves all off-season. They've secured key pieces well beyond 2029, and that includes locking in cornerstone players like Jurgens. This approach has sparked a lot of debate. Some say the team is setting itself up for a financial crunch in the future, especially with the salary cap and contract commitments stacking up. But others see it as a masterclass in cap management. The front office isn't just reacting. They're planning for where the league is headed. And speaking of the future, it's no coincidence that this timeline aligns with the NFL's next massive broadcast rights deal. Starting in the late 2020s, the league is expected to generate even more revenue, especially as new methods of tracking viewership on streaming platforms kick in. That means the salary cap will likely take another leap, which could make today's big contracts look like bargains in just a few years. Having a front office executive with a deep background in television and media only helps, giving the team a serious edge in understanding and leveraging these industry shifts. As it stands today, when you look at the average annual value of contracts for centers across the league, there's a clear hierarchy. The top spot belongs to a rival player pulling in $18 million per season. Jurgens now sits just behind him with $17 million per year. After that, you've got a veteran who recently switched teams making $14 million, followed by another elite center at $13 million, and a fifth earning around $12.5. It's a competitive market, and some might think the Eagles overpaid. But when you consider Jurgens' trajectory, stepping up after just a year or so on the bench, taking over at guard, and finally securing the center role, it starts to make sense. This is what smart franchises do. They identify the talent they believe in, lock them in early, and stay ahead of market inflation. By negotiating extensions before players hit peak value, you're essentially getting elite production at a discount. It's the kind of forward-thinking strategy that separates contenders from pretenders. Other teams? They wait. They drag their feet until training camp or even the preseason, and by then, the market has shifted. Prices go up, leverage changes, and you're paying more than you needed to. The Eagles, on the other hand, are showing a real commitment to homegrown talent. They're not just drafting well, they're developing, believing, and rewarding. That kind of culture is what builds dynasties. For Jurgens, it's been quite the journey. Drafted in 2022 out of Nebraska, he spent his rookie season learning from the sidelines. The following year, he filled in at right guard, gaining valuable experience, and by the 2024 season, he'd fully transitioned into the center position. And he thrived. Coaches love his toughness, his leadership, and the way he anchors that offensive line. His teammates see him as a leader in the locker room, a glue guy who lifts everyone around him. If you watch the interviews leading up to the Super Bowl, you could tell this is a guy who gets it. Over the past year, the Eagles have shown exactly how serious they are about this philosophy. Look at the contracts handed out to their linemen. 4 years for $68 million here, 3 years for $66 there, another for 4 years at $84 million. Even a 1-year deal for $25 million, tailored to a player's age, but still generous. It's a clear message. The trenches matter. The offensive line is the soul of this team, and the results speak for themselves. The Eagles' offensive line is widely regarded as one of the best in the league, year in and year out. They give their quarterback time to operate and open massive holes in the run game. When you're watching from the sideline or on TV, keep your eyes on the line of scrimmage. Watch how they move defenders. That's where the real battle happens. That's where championships are built. A key figure in the front office learned this firsthand from one of the game's great coaches early in his career. Starting out as an intern and eventually rising through the ranks to oversee the salary cap, he's become one of the most respected minds in the sport. His philosophy is clear: build from the inside out. Strengthen both lines. That's the foundation. You can weather injuries at other positions, but if your offensive and defensive lines are elite and deep, you're going to win games. And the Eagles? They've lived by that. Just think about how they dominated some of the top teams last season. It wasn't just scheme or luck. It was brute force, precision, and depth in the trenches. It's part of the team's identity, and it's paying off. As someone who grew up watching this team, now 33 years old and raised under the shadow of the Andy Reid era, it's incredible to see the evolution. The organization has consistently prioritized the offensive line, drafting smart, developing talent, and rewarding their guys. Even when letting go of veterans this offseason sparked some fan frustration, the core remained strong. The Eagles still boast what many analysts call the most complete roster in the league. Quarterback? Locked in. Elite receivers? Still here. Offensive line? Built to last. And if you're wondering about rumors surrounding one of the star receivers, let me put that to rest. He's not going anywhere. I've had fans approach me lately, rocking other team jerseys, asking if he's being traded. The answer is no. He's staying put, and the team has made that crystal clear. Players like Devonta Smith, Saquon Barkley, Lane Johnson, Cam Jurgens, Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, and Zach Bond are all under contract through 2028. That's a powerful, talented core. Add in young pieces like Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Quinyon Mitchell, and others still on rookie deals, and the future looks incredibly bright. And with 8 draft picks this year, all in the first 5 rounds, the Eagles have the capital to keep reloading. Not every pick needs to be an instant starter. That's the beauty of where this roster is at. They can afford to develop players slowly, groom them behind veterans, and unleash them when the time is right. It's the mark of a truly sustainable operation. And speaking of sustainability, that's what sets the Eagles apart right now. This isn't a team scrambling to stay competitive with last-minute signings or quick-fix trades. They're playing the long game, building from within, investing in character and culture just as much as athletic ability. And it's why there's such a buzz around Philadelphia right now. Fans know this isn't just a fluke year or a short window. This team has the foundation to be dominant for years to come. There's been a lot of talk about potential dynasties in the league, teams that could replicate the kind of sustained success we've seen from legendary franchises. And honestly, the Eagles are in that conversation. They've got the leadership, the infrastructure, the roster depth, and the front office vision to make it happen. It starts with moments like this, signing key players to smart, strategic deals before the rest of the league catches on, locking in young talent before they hit the open market, showing players that if they buy into the system, work hard, and perform, they'll be rewarded. But let's also talk about the atmosphere inside the locker room, because that matters more than most people realize. The Eagles have built a team where guys genuinely want to play for one another. There's trust. There's belief. Veterans take rookies under their wing. Coaches empower players to lead. And that chemistry, you can feel it on the field. It's the kind of environment that turns solid players into stars and stars into legends. Jurgens is a perfect example. When he arrived, he wasn't expected to take over immediately. He learned behind one of the best to ever play the position. He studied, trained, and waited for his moment. And when it came, he didn't just step in. He stepped up. That's not just a win for him. It's a win for the entire player development system the Eagles have put in place. This extension he just signed, it's a message to the locker room. Do the work, and we've got your back. Now, you might be thinking about the cap. How does a team keep this many stars without breaking the bank? That's where the Eagles' front office earns its respect. They're not just looking at today's numbers. They're forecasting years ahead. They're mapping out future cap spikes, planning for rookie contract expirations, and making sure every move fits the bigger picture. It's chess, not checkers. And when that next TV deal hits and the cap rises like everyone expects, these deals are going to look like absolute steals. And while other teams might panic at the thought of paying a center $17 million a year, the Eagles see the value. Because it's not just about the position, it's about the player. Jurgens brings leadership, intelligence, grit, and consistency. You're not just paying for performance. You're paying for stability, for peace of mind. You're paying to protect your quarterback and power your run game. And if you got a player who can do all that and more, you pay him. It also helps that this coaching staff knows exactly how to use its talent. They're not forcing players into roles they can't handle. They're building schemes around strengths, finding ways to maximize every inch of ability. That's why guys thrive here. It's why so many players want to come here. They know they're walking into a system that gets the best out of them. As we head into this draft, there's even more reason for excitement. 8 picks in the first 5 rounds. That's serious capital. And the best part? There's no pressure to hit home runs on every single one. The roster is already stacked. These picks are about depth, about future starters, about building layers of security in case of injury or eventual roster turnover. It's about keeping the pipeline flowing year after year. Look, I know some fans were nervous when a few veterans left in free agency. It's never easy watching familiar faces walk out the door. But you got to look at the bigger picture. The team didn't lose core identity pieces. They made calculated decisions, cleared cap space, and doubled down on their most important assets. And they did it without gutting the locker room or compromising leadership. That's not easy to do. That takes guts and vision. And speaking of vision, how about the way they've handled the wide receiver rumors? Let me be clear once again for everyone asking. Devonta Smith is not going anywhere. I've been stopped by fans in Patriots and Cowboys gear more than once this week asking if the rumors are true. And every time, I've said the same thing. He's staying. This isn't a team looking to tear down what they've built. They're looking to build on it. The core is intact. You've got your quarterback locked in through 2028. You've got key pieces on both sides of the ball signed long-term. You've got a coaching staff that knows how to win. And you've got one of the best defensive lines in the league, arguably the best, leading the charge. Players like Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, they're not just big names, they're big-time performers. Add Jurgens to that group, and you've got a unit that can bully defenses, control games, and dominate in the trenches. And as long as that offensive line stays elite, the Eagles will always have a chance. The same goes for the defensive line. Young studs like Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith are still on rookie deals, giving the team insane value. And they're only getting better. These are guys you can build around. Guys who show up in the biggest moments. Guys who understand what it means to wear midnight green. As this team heads into another draft and prepares for another run, the message is clear. This is a franchise with a plan. A franchise that knows who it is and where it's going. They're not rebuilding, they're refining. They're tweaking, adjusting, improving. Always moving forward. And while no one can predict the future, injuries happen, luck runs dry, the Eagles have done everything in their power to position themselves for success. From smart drafting to savvy cap management, from player development to culture building, they're doing it right. And if you're a fan, you've got every reason to be excited. So yeah, it's draft week. And yeah, it's a big one. But it's also just the next step in a much bigger journey. The kind of journey that builds legends, that carves out eras, that creates memories for a lifetime. Get ready. We're just getting started. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The Philadelphia Eagles have just made a blockbuster move that has sent shockwaves through the NFL. Tyreek Hill, one of the most electrifying wide receivers in the league, is now an Eagle. The signing has left fans buzzing with excitement, as Hill's addition promises to elevate the already potent Eagles' offense to new heights. Known for his unmatched speed, sharp route running, and game-breaking ability, Hill's arrival adds another dimension to an offense that was already a force to be reckoned with. Last season, the Eagles showcased their prowess, making it all the way to the Super Bowl, but the acquisition of Hill makes it clear that they have no intention of resting on their laurels. With a dynamic playmaker like Hill on the roster, expectations have skyrocketed for what the Eagles can achieve in the upcoming season. Hill, who spent his formative years in Kansas City with the Chiefs, developed a reputation as one of the league's most dangerous deep threats. His ability to stretch the field and create opportunities for big plays was a key component of the Chiefs' success in recent years. Now, the Eagles have brought that same explosive energy to their roster, pairing Hill with a talented group of offensive weapons led by quarterback Jalen Hurts. The signing of Hill also represents a major statement from the Eagles' front office. It shows their commitment to not only maintaining their competitive edge, but also to building a team that can compete for championships year after year. Adding a player of Hill's caliber to the mix also enhances the chemistry and potential of the entire offense. Hurts, with his dual-threat ability and playmaking style, will now have a true game-changer in Hill, who can turn any reception into a touchdown. Eagles fans are understandably thrilled about the prospect of watching Hill in action. His combination of speed, agility, and ability to break tackles has already made him a fan favorite in his previous stops. Now, his signature moves will electrify the Eagles' faithful at Lincoln Financial Field as the team looks to continue its dominance in the NFC. The pressure is on for Hill to live up to the expectations that come with such a high-profile move. However, if anyone can handle the spotlight, it's the Cheetah himself. His relentless work ethic and passion for the game make him one of the most dangerous players in the NFL, and his new chapter with the Eagles promises to be an exciting one. As the Eagles prepare for the 2025 season, one thing is certain. Their offense just became a whole lot more dangerous. Tyreek Hill's arrival has injected new energy into the team, and the sky's the limit for what this dynamic offense can accomplish in the coming year. With Hill leading the charge, the Eagles are poised for another deep playoff run, and their fans are eager to see what the future holds with their new star on board. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.